Hello and welcome to another video on this channel. So I'm still in the process of setting up my new office space, and as part of that I also had to consider lighting. Now the problem with this office space is it's very small, so it's just 6 square meters. That means I don't have much space to put a light. So for example, behind the camera there's no space at all. There's just a little window which doesn't offer enough natural light from outside to film, so I need a light. And big light doesn't work. Also the light above me, I just use it for work, but it's not good for filming. So what I wanted was a very compact but bright light, which is also very silent. So typically studio lights, they come with a fan, and it's an important consideration if you want to film, especially in such a small studio, how much noise those fans make or don't make. So it was a great coincidence as Colbor reached out to me and asked if I want to test their very compact Colbor CL60R light. So I am currently filming with that light, and in this video I want to show you how I've set it up, how I use it. I want to talk about its features, specifications, and also I'll show you later how you can turn this light into a mobile light which you can take outside for filming. But for now, let's just start with looking at my setup here, and I'm gonna switch to the GoPro for that. So I've now switched to the GoPro and we're gonna have a look at the setup. But before, so the light is a 65 watt RGB light, and the output is, it says here, 2600 lux at 1 meter distance. And if I use the reflector which comes with the light, it focuses that light even more, so you get even brighter light, which works great for me here because, as I said, I couldn't put the light behind the camera, which you see here, so there's no space. What I'm doing is I bounce the light off the white wall I have here. And since this light is very bright, although also very small, the output is enough to bounce it off that wall, and then I use this wall as my soft light source to filming here. And if you can see here, my setup, actually have just my chair here to prevent the light from directly lighting up the rim from me, so it would be too bright on the side. So also I always have to fine-tune it. You might have seen the video, it might have still been a little too bright on that side, so I actually control this here by just putting the chair there. Ideally I would have some kind of wall to better focus the light to this area and less on this wall, but that's how I can use the light, and this works because it's so small. So let's just have a look and go down how small this actually is. So the light itself is just this little part here, and the reflector is actually as big as the light. So that's how small it is. It just weighs like 600 grams. So this allows me to put it on just such a mini stand here. It's an old tripod I had, so you don't need a very heavy light stand to use that light. It's very small, very light, and this makes it very versatile. So currently you see here the input, it's USB-C. There's a cable which I actually had to get in from the other room because my office has just here one plug which I use for my standing desk. But that's fine. This cable, it's like, I'd say, more than 2 meters. So for a huge light stand, if you have this on a large light stand, it might actually be a little short for that, but we'll come to a possible solution later when I show you how to turn it into a mobile light. But what I now want to show you is some of its features. So first of all, let's have a look at the back of the light. I hope you can see it. So there's this control panel where you can, for example, change the temperature. So I have it currently sitting roughly at daylight temperature. Then we have the dimmer. You see it's just at 50% and it's already bright enough, even though I'm bouncing it off the wall. And what you can also see here, there are different modes. So for example, I can switch to the color mode, to the HSI mode, where you can control the hue, you can control saturation and intensity. This allows you to create like more than 3 million colors, and I'll show you in a second because I like to do those settings in the app. So up here you see it's currently here, this is showing that it's connected, or that I'm able to connect to this light with my app and then control it remotely, which is very nice. Also, there are some effects. I'll show you a few. They are not so interesting for me for filming. I'm mostly interested in the normal light, and yeah, those effects would be interesting if you use it as ambient light somewhere in the background of your video to create some atmosphere. So we're gonna look at that now. Gonna switch back to the main camera and then control the light a bit with the app, show you more of its features. So back to filming with the main camera. So I've now switched the fan mode of the light to smart. So before I had it at the quiet setting, which limits the output to like 55% intensity, which, as I said, is perfect for this room here. But I also wanted to show you how the noise impacts the video if I have the light in normal mode with the fan and also go to higher intensities. We're going to do that now with the app, which I wanted to show you. So I already had this app connected before, which is an initial setup you have to do. Afterwards, if the light is on, you turn on the app, it will automatically show the light. So you can see here, there's the Colbor light shown at the top, and I can now just select it. And once I do though, I directly get to the main panel here, where I can control the temperature of the light and also the intensity. So you can see this here. So you have an intensity slider and also a temperature slider. So I can use it, for example, to make the light warmer or make it colder. And I can also use it to make it brighter. And you can see how bright this actually goes. So yeah, it's too bright for this little room. So I usually have it at like 50%. Can also directly use different source types. For example, here you can see there, you can set the day light or cloudy day, so different predefined temperatures. And what I can also do, I can go to the color mode, and now here I can control intensity, hue and saturation. So let's, for example, go here with some cyan, bring down the saturation a bit. And yeah, this is actually how this looks in the app. So you have three sliders similar to Photoshop. And yeah, you can use this setting. I'd say if you have this as your secondary light somewhere in the background to control the ambient light in your room, that's pretty nice, especially with the app. You can fine tune the light, the intensity, and yeah, have your main light also set up in the app. And yeah, you can set everything up while being in front of the camera and looking at the flippy screen to how your lighting environment looks. So for this, the app is pretty nice. There are also some effects which I don't use so much, but I'm gonna show you. This is the flash, so you can set up intensity, rate. For example, if we go up with the rate, you have more flashes. Yeah, maybe this is interesting if you do need some effects for your video. You can go party where the light goes through different colors. Yeah, for filming here, it's not that interesting for me. Might be interesting if you actually use it for a party. There are some other effects. For example, what do we have here? We also have lighting. So this is pretty interesting. If you want to create some mood, you have flame. This might actually be nice if you put this light as an ambient light somewhere in the background. But other than that, I think the most helpful settings are, for once, controlling the temperature of the light and the intensity, or also the color for ambient light. So I mostly will use just the temperature dials and the intensity. And yeah, if you think that's all you will have to use, you don't need the RGB option, then there's actually another version of that light. So the CL60, for example, doesn't come with the RGB light. It just has the normal temperature controls and intensity, and it's a little cheaper. For example, the light here, the CL60R, you can buy it from Moman and it costs like 190 euros. If you think you just need the CL60, it's like sitting at 140 euros. So I'll leave links to that in the description below. So for this video, what I also wanted to show you, I teased this in the beginning, you can turn this light, since it's so small, easily into a mobile light, and that's what I'm gonna show you now. So for this part, I've now switched to the overhead light, so lighting is not that nice, but I wanted to show you the mobile setup for the lights. So you see here the Colbor light, again here with the base, which also comes with a light. So this is what I used to mount it onto my tripod. And here on the side, I already attached an accessory, which is a V-mount attachment. So this one is also, it's coming from Moman. It's the VM2 V-Lock battery mount. And this one here, it costs like 29 euros. What this one allows you to do is to use such a mobile battery here, like for example the Moman Power 99V. So this nearly 100 watts battery, and it comes up here, for example, with 2 USB ports, which you can use to charge your phone. But more importantly, it comes here with such a D-tap port, and those ports, it's actually one on each side, allow you to attach this battery directly to the Colbor. So I have here a cord which is going from D-tap to USB-C. So yeah, let's just first insert the battery. So it has the V-mount at the back, which I can use to now just plug it in here. So it's all fitting together nicely. This battery just weighs a bit over 500 grams. So the whole setup as it is now, just a bit more than 1 kilogram. So still very compact. Now, if I insert the D-tap cord here, let's just do that. Oops, it's a little hard with just one hand. And then plug it in to the USB-C. And I can turn on the light. And now I have a mobile light. And I still get all the controls. So I can, for example, use the color light, and yeah, with this now I can get outside, film outside, or also use it for my photography, which is something I've planned for the future when I, for example, do a bit of woodland photography. If I have a misty morning, some fog, this would be actually something I'd like to test and see if I can use them nice colorful lights and yeah, basically create a certain mood in those photos. Also maybe photography in the evening or night even, and create some kind of moonshine in the scene. So yeah, this is pretty nice. But also what this allows me with this compact setup, I can now even put the light, oh, it's actually too bright. Let's first dial it down, in very small spaces. So for example, now I could even mount it somewhere behind the camera, wouldn't need a cord to plug it into the wall. And yeah, this is all possible with this battery. So let's quickly switch it off. I'm actually just using it a bit till now. So on the side, the battery has a little indicator which tells me yeah, how much power it still has. And if you don't want to use this battery just for light, you can also use it for your camera. For example, if you're doing very long time-lapse videos, a normal battery in the camera might not be enough. So you can get an adapter where you can go from D-tap into the camera and then have this camera or this battery power your camera. And then you can power it like throughout the night, which is a very nice additional feature. So this battery is not only good to use as a V-mount battery for such a light, you can also use it to power your camera or other accessories. So that's pretty nice. And yeah, if I want to remove it, I can just pull it off and then unplug the cable. And yeah, it's very compact. I can store everything, the light, together with this battery in my backpack. There's enough space, so it's also nice. I don't need to have a big backpack. There's plenty of space in my backpack for that. If you want to carry it extra, so the light actually comes with this nice case, which you can also hang over your shoulder, and yeah, in there I can fit everything. So the light, the reflector. Let's just actually disassemble it. So I can pull this one out here. Oh no, pull it down. Then I can store the reflector. Down here, this base, I can just simply slide it out, put it in here. Then I have some little cover here for the light. I can put the light also here in the back. The battery, this nicely fits in here together with the reflector, cable, everything stored away nicely and compact. And yeah, so if I don't want to put it in my backpack, I can also just carry around. So that brings us to the end of the video. I should also mention that the battery I just showed costs like 140 euros, also available from Moman. I leave a link in the description below. And yeah, now if you like the video, don't forget, leave a thumbs up and see you in the next video. Bye bye.